All right, let's talk about the science of habits. You know, that powerful, kind of hidden force that's running the show for like half of your day. We're going to break down how it all works, and this is the important part, how you can actually get back in the driver's seat. So yeah, let's just dive right in.
Okay, have you ever felt like your willpower is just completely shot? Especially when things get crazy, When you're stressed or just swamped with work. You start the day off so strong, right? You're like, today's the day. I'm gonna eat healthy, I'm gonna crush that project, no distractions. But then 4 p.m. hits. After a marathon of meetings or a really draining day, and what happens? You're mindlessly reaching for that snack or just scrolling on your phone. It feels like you failed, like a willpower issue. But what's really fascinating is that the science tells a totally different story.
So to really get what's happening here, you got to understand something kind of fundamental. You're not just working with one brain. It's more like you've got these two different systems inside your head, and they're both competing to control what you do.
Yeah, think of it like this. On one hand, you've got your CEO brain. This is the part that's slow, deliberate, the part that really thinks things through. It's what you use to tackle a tough new problem at work or figure out how to handle a tricky conversation. It's super powerful, but man, is it effortful. It burns a ton of mental energy. And then you've got your autopilot brain. This thing is the complete opposite. It's fast, it's automatic, and it is wildly efficient. It doesn't think, it just does. It's just running all the pre-written code, your habits.
And here's the thing. Your autopilot isn't lazy. Not at all. We tend to beat ourselves up over it, right? We think it's a bad thing, but it's actually a feature, not a bug. It's designed to save energy. Your brain is actively trying to turn things you do over and over into habits, just so it can free up that CEO brain to focus on the big stuff. It's a survival strategy, really, a way to conserve your mental horsepower. So if our habits are basically the brain's efficiency software, how does it get written in the first place? Well, turns out the process, the blueprint, is actually way simpler than you might think. It all boils down to this super simple thing called the habit loop. Step 1, there's a cue. Something in your environment that happens over and over. It could be a time of day, a place you're in, even an emotion you feel. And then, step 2, that cue triggers an automatic response. It's like a button gets pushed. The cue is the button, and the habit is the program that just runs. It has nothing to do with your goals or what you want to do in that moment. It's just a connection your brain has learned. This context means I do this action.
Okay, so how much of our day is actually run by this habit loop? I mean, really, what are we talking about here? Some researchers decided to figure this out, and the number they came back with, well, it's pretty staggering.
43%. Just let that sink in for a second. That is almost half of your entire day running on autopilot. Think about it. The way you drive to work, grabbing that first cup of coffee, how you automatically open your email, what you do the second you walk in the door after a long day. None of that is conscious choice. It's all habit. And that, right there, shows you how unbelievably powerful this system is, and why figuring it out is a total game changer.
So that begs the question, right? If we've got this smart, deliberate CEO brain, why on earth do we let the autopilot drive so much? Well, it turns out there are specific situations that basically force our CEO to just hand over the keys.
And here's when that happens. The research is super clear on this. Anytime our CEO brain gets overwhelmed, our habits take over. I'm talking about when you're stressed out by a looming deadline, or you're totally distracted by a million notifications, or you're just exhausted from making decision after decision all day long. That classic decision fatigue. Or even just when you're in a hurry. In all those moments, your CEO brain is just tapped out. It can't handle the load. And so, what does your brain do? It defaults to the easy, energy-saving option, the autopilot.
I love this quote from the research. It hits the nail on the head. Think of your habits as your brain's backup generator. When the main power grid, your conscious, thoughtful mind, gets overloaded by stress and pressure, boom, the habits kick in to keep the lights on. It's not a flaw in your character, it's a built-in safety feature. Okay, so we get it. We understand the system, we know why it takes over. Now for the fun part. How do we actually use this knowledge to our advantage? Let's get into the playbook. Let's talk about hacking your habits.
First up, breaking a bad habit. Look, trying to use willpower is like trying to stop a tidal wave with a bucket. It's the wrong tool for the job. The secret isn't to fight the behavior, it's to get rid of the cue that triggers it. So don't just try not to eat the cookies, get the cookies off the counter. Change your route home so you don't drive past that fast food joint. Put your phone in another room. You disrupt the cue. And by the way, the absolute best time to do this is during a big life change, like starting a new job, moving to a new city, or even getting laid off. Why? Because all your old cues are already scrambled, giving you this incredible clean slate.
Okay, so what about building a good habit? Well, you basically just reverse engineer the process. You find a stable, consistent cue that's already part of your daily routine, say your morning coffee, and you attach the new habit to it. You want to meditate for a minute? Do it right after your first sip of coffee. Every single day. That repetition in the same context is what builds that strong connection in your brain. But, and this is a big one, you gotta be patient. We're not talking about 21 days here. The research shows it can take anywhere from 18 days to, get this, over 250 days for a habit to become truly automatic. So you have to stick with it. And all of this, it leads to what might be the biggest takeaway of all. It completely reframes how we think about self-control. Turns out, we've kind of had it backwards this whole time.
Real self-control, it's not about having this iron will, you know? It's not about white-knuckling it through every temptation. That's just exhausting, and we know it doesn't work when we're stressed. No, what the science shows is that people who seem to have amazing self-control are actually just masters of their environment. They are experts at building beneficial habits that automatically move them toward their goals. They don't fight temptation, they design their lives so they don't have to.
So it all comes down to this one simple idea. It's not about having more willpower, it's about needing less of it. It's about being the architect of your habits so that your autopilot is actually flying you where you want to go. Which leaves us with one last question to think about. That 43% of your day, it's going to run on autopilot no matter what. That's a given. So the only real question is this: are you going to be the one who intentionally builds those habits, or are you just going to let them unintentionally build you?